The Necromancer has two different types of resources that they use: essence and corpses. Essence is their primary resource, which restores itself automatically at a slow rate. Using basic skills also grants essence, allowing you to use your skills more often. Corpses, on the other hand, are the leftover remains of enemies who die near the Necromancer. There will also be skills and other abilities to generate corpses for you without having to kill something necessarily. Popular curses like Decrepify and Iron Maiden will be making a return in Diablo IV for the Necromancer. The Necromancer has 4 high-level playstyles that players can choose between. The playstyles are Bone, Darkness, Blood, and the Army. First up, we have Bone. Bone skills are relatively physical in nature and thus benefit more heavily from effects such as critical strikes. Examples of Bone skills are things like Bone Spirit. Bone Spirit, once conjured, seeks out the nearest enemy and explodes for very high damage, with bonuses from critical and other stuff applied. Another Bone skill is Bone Prison. Just like it sounds, you slam your weapon into the ground and then you summon a prison of bone to surround just the area or the enemies and prevent them from moving, trapping them inside. Sounds incredibly powerful. Next, we have the Darkness line. Darkness skills use shadow magic to overwhelm their enemies. These kinds of attacks tend to be damage over time based or attack multiple times in a short window, with various benefits and rewards being granted for damaging enemies in this way. Darkness skills also tend to have various debuffs and crowd control elements so that they can keep their enemies at bay while they die a slow and painful death. An example of a darkness skill is Decompose. It's a basic darkness skill that allows you to channel dark magic on enemies, dealing damage to them while also generating essence. Unlike other basic skills, Decompose also periodically summons corpses. This makes it much easier for you to keep your army going. Another darkness skill is Blight. Blight launches a ball of dark energy in a direction. Upon hitting an enemy or expiring, it deals an explosion of damage while leaving behind a defiled area, dealing periodic damage to enemies inside over time. And it does a high amount of damage. Next up, we've got Blood. Necromancers can use the power of blood magic to siphon the life from their enemies. Not only do these skills tend to have defensive-oriented benefits, they also have many ways to turn the defense into offense for the player, empowering them and rewarding them for having large amounts of maximum health, as well as keeping their current health total high. An example of a blood skill is Blood Surge. Draws a small amount of blood from nearby enemies to the Necromancer that then expels a blood nova, dealing damage near the player's location. The damage of the blood nova is increased per enemy drained, so this sounds like it's going to be pretty nuts for just diving into the groups of stuff and just blasting them up. Another blood skill is Blood Mist. Upon activation, the Necromancer disperses into a bloody mist, becoming temporarily immune to all damage while draining the life of any nearby enemies they pass through. Sounds incredible. Finally, we have the Army. As you would expect, Necromancers can summon the undead to do their bidding. We allow players to specialize into empowering their army as much as possible, which includes various kinds of skeletons as well as the class of golem. One advantage to this method of playing is that it can easily incorporate the benefits of bone, darkness, or blood skills, allowing you to have a great deal of customization to how you interact with your army. One of the more exciting things for the Diablo IV Necromancer is going to be the Book of the Dead. The Book of the Dead gives you a lot of control over customizing the Necromancer. You get to choose between adjusting the types of summons that you're going to be summoning, as well as you could choose to forego the summons entirely to take a special buff for the actual Necromancer himself instead. For just one quick example on the customization, for your skeletal warriors, you could choose for them to be skirmishers, defenders, or Reapers. Your skirmishers are going to be a bit more damaged. The defenders are more tanky, right? And then you have the Reapers, and the Reapers do slower attacks, but they have an AoE focus to them. So there's this customization. They all look different as well. So it's really cool. And you have the same thing going on with the Golem and the Skeletal Mages as well. So a lot of little tweaking in there that you can do. Really excited for this feature on the Necromancer. In addition to this, not only do you get to kind of choose which type of each of the summon you want to use, but there are going to be upgrades that you can unlock for them that kind of synergize with different styles, right? There might be like a blood style golem, right? And this is just another layer of customizing the actual summons themselves to your play style, which I think, again, super awesome to see that. All right, well, I might be sort of apprehensive toward Diablo 4 as a whole, only because of Diablo Immortal, but there is no apprehension toward the Necromancer. The Necromancer for D4 looks super awesome. The ability to do all this customizing to all the different summons, I think that's awesome. It's going to take it to just a fun level, right? It's such a fun thing when you can do those little tweaks and stuff, right? And kind of build the style that you want and the aesthetic even that you want for them. I think this is awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Maybe leave me that like, comment, subscribe if you did. My channel could really use the help. Well, I would appreciate it. Catch you in the next one.